What's up, Nostalgia Maniacs? I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for tuning in, no matter where you're enjoying our content. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or another platform, or if you're tuning in live on YouTube or Facebook, we truly appreciate you. If you could like and share on whichever platform you're on, it would mean the world to us. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Now, as always, let's get nostalgic.
80s glow, the 90s flare, joystick battles and pixel care. Each tale we tell, each laugh we share. It's a gamer's journey beyond compare. Nostalgia Mania, press start and see the games of the past where we long to be. Tune in each week, it's time to rewind. Retro memories for the gamer's mind.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Nostalgia Mania, episode 30. Cannot believe we are already here, but we're here. This is the podcast where we dive deep into the movies, games, and memories that defined our childhood, specifically the 90s and the early 2000s. I am your host, the real Josh Elliott. And today we are going to step into the 16-bit squared circle as we talk about Saturday Night Slammasters on the Super Nintendo. Now, let's get this elephant out of the room. This is Nostalgia Mania, right? But not quite the same Nostalgia Mania that you're used to. The show's gone through a little bit of a makeover, as you can say, kind of a new coat of paint, fresh mindset, and a format that gives us a little bit more freedom to bring you the good stuff. From here on out, things are going to be a little bit different. For starters, the episodes might be a little bit shorter than they have been, kind of trimming that fat and keeping things tight, fun, and focused. That means bite-sized blasts of nostalgia, perfect for your drive to work or quick break in your day. And while I'll still be your main host, I might have a guest co-host here and there, whether it's a familiar voice or a voice of the past, a new friend dropping by. We're going to keep things fresh, keep it neat. And And also, I wanted to talk about our release schedule because that might start be dropping episodes a little bit more often than once a week. Might be twice a week. We might drop a bonus episode out of nowhere. Who knows? I want to quote the icon Sting, and I wish I had a screenshot to show on the screen for those watching live. The only thing for sure about Nostalgia Mania is nothing's for sure. So buckle up, hit subscribe, and follow, share, all that good stuff, whatever platform you're listening on, because we're taking a nostalgic trip to a whole new level as we talk about Saturday Night Slammasters for the Super Nintendo. It's a game that combined wrestling and fighting in a way that felt fresh and exciting for its time. And trust me, it still holds up as one of the most fun and unique games I've ever played. Now, if you remember this game, you know it wasn't just about wrestling in the traditional sense. It was over the top, chaotic, and dare I say, ahead of its time in certain ways. So today I'm going to share my thoughts on the game, the characters, the gameplay, and the memories I have of playing it back in the day and recently, because I do have a retro game system in the other room, and I put it in. I guess you don't put the game in anymore. You just load it right up, and I played Saturday Night Slammasters. Let's kick this off. One of my favorite games of all time. It dropped in 1993 for the Super Nintendo. If you were a kid back then who loved wrestling games like I did, this was a dream video game. This game combined the mechanics of a traditional wrestling game that you'd get with crazy special move, action-packed, kind of Street Fighter-like video game. You know, you had the grapples, the pins, and even fireballs, special attacks, all in a wrestling setting. Something that was completely unexpected for its time. But what really made the game kind of special for me was the roster. You know, it wasn't just about the fighting. It was about the characters that the game had, and I absolutely loved the roster. You know, you had Biff Slamkovich, which was kind of the basic hero type character. The wild Great Oni, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Each kind of had their own style and flair. And obviously Mike Hagar from Final Fight. Capcom kind of threw him into the mix. But Slammasters was packed with colorful, larger-than-life personalities. I can still remember the first time I played this game. You know, I actually played Slammasters only on Super Nintendo, even though I know it was on other platforms. It was an arcade game. I beat the game multiple times, and I really loved this game. It wasn't just another wrestling video game to me. It became one of my all-time favorites. It was unique, and I remember having extreme amounts of fun playing it, trying to unlock the characters, because there's 2 characters you have to unlock in the game, perfecting my style, and also playing multiplayer, which I've expressed many times on Nostalgia Mania in the past, how I really love games that you could play at the same time with a friend, and this was one of them. And you could play on the same team, which was super awesome. The game was a go-to, basically anytime my next-door neighbor, Jacob, would come over. It was one of the first games I wanted to play, where I suggested to play. You know, if I wanted to sink my time into something, this was the cartridge I pulled out, right? Definitely got my money's worth out of it. And yeah, let's dive into some of these characters, because the heart and soul of what Slammasters is all about. This game had some unique and colorful wrestling characters that I ever saw on Super Nintendo, to be honest with you. And we're going to run through them here. My all-time favorite character was the Scorpion, the one with that motorcycle-looking helmet you can see at top left of your screen if you're looking at the graphic. I mean, he was a lot smaller. He's a faster character. Moved around the ring, very quick, kind of ninja-like speed. You couldn't control him until you unlocked him, which made it more special when you finally could. Once I had access to Scorpion, he was obviously my go-to every single time. And there was just something slick about him that I just absolutely loved. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the tag team mode is what I played constantly. Whether I had a friend over or just playing solo, I always teamed up Biff Slamkovich, which we mentioned earlier, and Gunlock. And sure, they weren't actually brothers in the game storyline, but back then, 1993, my 6-year-old brain, yeah, they were definitely brothers. I imagine them kind of training together, fighting together, and just being this, unstoppable duo. They had this natural tag team chemistry, and I played them like they were my version of the Steiner brothers. And I hope people listening know who the Steiner brothers are, because iconic tag team, one of my favorites of all time. And shout out to Braun Breaker, the son of Rick Steiner, who is doing great things in WWE today. El Stingray stood out to me too. This kind of gave off early Rey Mysterio vibes, really, even before Rey was on my radar. He was kind of masked, mysterious, full of energy, very similar to the Scorpion, the smaller character, real fast. Looked like he should be doing springboard moonsaults and 619s. And even like those two, if I wasn't using Biff Slamkovich and Gunlock as a tag team, I was using the Scorpion and El Stingray as a tag team. That was my other go-to team to go. Then you've got Alexander the Grater, monster heel. If those of you who are wrestling fans know what that means, he was a bad guy, a bad guy. Just this massive, terrifying presence in the ring with that spiked mask and extremely brutal attitude. But here's the kicker. And I got a clip. He had my favorite theme song in the game. I'm going to play this song here. I was pretty obsessed with it. I remember telling my parents, and this is no joke, that if I ever made it to a wrestling promotion, WWE, WCW, ECW back then, this was going to be my entrance theme. So picture little 6-year-old Josh saying that with complete confidence when I wasn't in the mirror dancing to Sexy Boy, Shawn Michaels theme song. It just this song hit different, and I'm gonna play a little bit, and it still holds up, man. It's a damn good song. Let's take a listen. 6-year-old me is just picturing myself walking down the ramp at WrestleMania to Alexander the Grater's theme song. Man, still hits today, man. What a great song. Let's move on here. King Rastaman, another wild character. Didn't use him a ton, but man, absolutely memorable. Came to the ring with a monkey on his shoulder as a kid. Thought that was the coolest thing, man. Always wish the game would let that, his pet get involved in the ring, somehow jumping in the ropes, distracting the ref. Would have been kind of a fun touch that would have made him more appealing to use than he was. The great Oni gave off that creepy villain energy. He had that eerie mask, that dark vibe that made you feel like you were fighting something supernatural. Titan the Great, that classic unstoppable big man, super tall, slow, but extremely powerful. Don't get caught in the corner with Titan the Great, because you were done if that was the case. Jumbo Flapjack was like a lumberjack version of King Kong Bundy for those wrestling fans. Big chops, big throws, just kind of an overall bruiser. I do kind of like how grounded he felt, though. He wasn't flashy, but he could get the job done. Super slow, kind of like Titan Tim, and kind of reminded me of the great big men in wrestling. The Big Van Vaders, Bam Bam Bigelows, Ray Trailers, a.k.a. Big Boss Man. Obviously, King Kong Bundy, So he was also one that you would unlock, similar to the Scorpion. And then last but certainly not least, you got Mike Hagar, straight up brute powerhouse. And he was from Final Fight. And back then, I had no idea what Final Fight even was. So to me, it was just kind of awesome to have this mayor-turned-wrestler who could throw down with the best of them. And dude was a beast in the ring. So that's it. Every character kind of brought something unique to the table. It was kind of cool to see. And, we talked about this in previous episodes of Nostalgia Mania, where it was cool to see each character. I think it was the Jet Moto episode that we discussed that, every character you chose may look similar, even though this game didn't have similar characters as far as look goes. The differences between all the games or all the characters was pretty cool and made everybody unique. And it made you want to pick one of these characters to beat the game with. So, but yeah, one of the cool things, I've got a screenshot here for those watching. I mean, you were not just fighting in the same ring each and every match. You're pretty much globetrotting. Each match kind of takes you to a different part of the world, with wild and unique arenas that reflect each fighter's home turf, which is pretty cool. Now, this screenshot, if you're watching, is actually from the arcade. It's not from the Super Nintendo version, but, it's just cool. But you can see the map there in the center. That's what I wanted to focus on. You'll throw down in places like Tokyo, Mexico, Italy, and even this wild jungle-like setting in South America. The stages are pretty colorful, which is cool. The rings change as each venue is traveled upon. And it's, not just a wrestling match. It's a world tour of this. And, honestly, playing this again reminded me, kind of being a part of Fountain City Pro for the last year and a half, and really with the I-70 hot tag. And it gives off independent wrestling vibes, traveling from city to city for some of these local independent wrestlers. You get the new crowds, new atmospheres, no matter what the show setup was, whether you're in a packed venue or a small, 50 venue or 50 seat arena, it was kind of cool to see. And this kind of reminded me of that, because not only are you wrestling here in the Kansas, Missouri area, Fountain City Pro, Olathe, Kansas, cheap plug. You got wrestlers that we've had here in FCP go across the pond, wrestle in Germany, wrestle in Japan. And that's kind of what you see in Saturday Night Slammasters. So pretty cool. So going to touch a little bit more on the multiplayer memories. No classic game would be complete, like I said earlier, without a absolutely killer multiplayer mode. And Slammasters, to me, really shined in that category. Even when I was playing solo, I always preferred the tag team mode. There was something about controlling, having a tag team partner in the ring with you. And like I said, Biff Slamkovich and Gunlock was my go-to. But when I did have friends over, man, multiplayer was the perfect way to spend hours just throwing down in the ring with no real goal besides making it through this tour of the map and going around the world and dominating. And I love playing on the same team. It was always fun to do this co-op video game. Kind of fun to do. Tag team dynamics is also a very fun aspect of the game. I love tag team wrestling. It's one of my favorite things about pro wrestling, and that was my favorite mode of the game. So, but here's a fun tidbit for those of you who may not know. And I've already mentioned it a little bit before, but Capcom being the geniuses that they are, decided to throw in a couple crossovers. So Mike Hagar, I know I'm saying that name incorrectly. He's from Final Fight, made an appearance in Saturday Night Slammasters, as we've already seen there. And at the time was a cool little surprise for those of us who knew what Final Fight was. Obviously, I did not at the time of this release, but I know what it is now. But yeah, I just knew Hagar was a monster. And even today, I think Hagar holds up to as one of the coolest characters in the game. It wasn't until later that Capcom, that I kind of realized that Capcom was building its own little interconnected universe in these games. Because even if you didn't know about Final Fight or the deeper lore, so to speak, it didn't matter. You know, Hagar felt like he belonged in the Saturday Night Slammasters realm. But yeah, man, as I kind of look back on this game, I can't help but place it, I would say, top 3 all-time favorite Super Nintendo games. Definitely top 3. And, as far as wrestling games is concerned, I hold WWF Royal Rumble as a favorite as well. But Slammasters had it all. The fun, the characters, the entrances was a big thing. I kind of just skimmed right over. This game had entrances. When we talked about WCW NWO World Tour and Revenge on episode 3, and just a few weeks ago on WWF No Mercy, my big thing was the production. I love the production of wrestling games, and when you give me an entrance, especially that early in video games, I am gravitated toward it very much. This game was before both of those Nintendo 64 games, obviously. I don't know of a game that had entrances before this one. Though it was very brief, very quick. I mean, your entrances are only about 5 seconds long. The theme song plays about 5 seconds. A little bit of Biff Slamovich and a little bit of Gunlock. Let's hear what those two theme songs sounded like as you're walking down to the ring. Man, brought me right back to the early 90s. And I said I liked Alexander the Grater's theme song, but this one was, those two were phenomenal as well. And again, those were a little bit longer than what you normally would hear when they walk to the ring. You get that side-scrolling action, but it's still cool to see them walk through the crowd, down the aisle, to the ring. That was something that I really love seeing in wrestling games. But like I said, the multiplayer mode, the characters, the entrances, the over-the-top moves, it just felt like a complete package that truly captured the excitement, the spectacle of professional wrestling, all while mixing in like a Street Fighter fighting game. For me, it's one of the best of its kind in that era. And I hope that if you're listening to this and you've gotten this far, you have similar thoughts about this video game. So one of my absolute favorite games, it is Saturday Night Slammasters. That's pretty much everything that we've got for Nostalgia Mania this week. I really hope that you enjoyed the trip down memory lane as much as I did. Like I said, the Nostalgia Mania is changing up a little bit. The format's going to change. There's going to be a lot more single host episodes. I'm going to bring in possibly a voice of the past. There might be a Jason Wallace episode coming up. There might be some more friends that I've got that want to come in and talk about some games or some nostalgic items. Anything you guys want to chat that makes you nostalgic for the 90s and early 2000s. Those are specifically the eras that we're looking at. Let us know. Comment on any platform that you're on. If it's on the podcast, just comment on our episode. If it's on YouTube, comment on our video. Facebook page. Let us know, what do you want us to research and look into. We're having a blast doing this. It's fun. Love it. Absolutely love it. And this game I absolutely loved. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening to this episode. Again, we may be dropping episodes more often than once a week. Actually, that's almost a guarantee. So keep an eye out. We'll still drop every single Tuesday night, but we're going to sprinkle in some special bonus episodes or some random topics throughout the week. So you're going to get a lot more nostalgia throughout the week. So that's all I have. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening. This has been another edition of Nostalgia Mania, episode 30. And as always, let's get nostalgic.
Through the 80s and 90s, the games we all know. From Mario's jumps to Sonic speed. Legends and Quest, every gamer's creed. Grab your controller, the stage is set. We're diving deep, don't you forget. Nostalgia Mania, where memories